What is up guys, Tom Wilkins here, and today I have a review on the brand new 2026 Diecast Mavis. Now, Mavis has been one of the most polarizing new characters, well not new characters, but one of the most polarizing additions to the 2026 Diecast lineup that there's been so far. Partially because people are excited that Mavis is being brought back so early. It's definitely reminiscent of when she was brought back in Hero of the Rails. But I think a lot of people are upset at her design, namely her face, because a lot of people say that this is not a good Mavis face, and I'm not necessarily sure I agree with that. I don't mind them changing the shape of the face, and I don't mind the expression. There's some other things about this toy that I'm not completely happy with, but I think we'll just take a look at her out of the box, and I can get more into detail about that. So you have the same rear detailing that we've got on all the Wave 2 diecast, and like I said, her model is definitely just the Nitrogen era one, just with a new face. And like I said, we'll get into what I think about that when we got her open. So without further ado, let's get her opened up. Now, like with all of these new models, this was bought on Tinsley Thomas's website. I don't think she's available anymore at the minute. I think they might have all sold out. So if you're looking to get Mavis, your best bet is probably just to wait until Smiths gets her in, or Entertainer. But anyway, we've got her out of the box, so let's take a quick look at her. And here is Mavis out of the box, and first impressions are pretty good, actually. Yeah, I think they got Mavis's shape down pretty much perfectly. The first thing I noticed when I took her out of the box, she is very, very light, and I feel like I've said that for a few of these models, but for Mavis, it's definitely worth pointing out because compared to some of them, there really is not much diecast in this engine. The only actual piece of diecast is the main body piece in the middle here, which is a bit of a disappointment, really, because I was expecting this back part of her cab to be metal, because I knew that the actual top of her cab was a separate piece, if you can see that there. But I was really hoping that this part would still be metal, and it's not. So it results in a very lightweight toy, which is a bit of a shame. I think the first thing I want to mention about Mavis, of course, like I've just discussed, is her face. And hopefully it focuses. There we go. Yeah, I don't hate it. I really don't get what the big deal is with her face. I think the thing most people are complaining about is the eyebrows, making her look like she's an evil train. Well, I really don't see that, especially not on toy out of the box. I think the promo art on the box makes it look more like she's a devilish character, like a devious scheming character. But on the toy, I really kind of just see it as like a cocky face, and I think that suits Mavis pretty well since she is a very feisty, cocky young diesel. But yeah, I don't really see a problem with the face. I think the whole front end actually looks pretty much perfect from this angle. You've got her cow catcher there, which is separated in colour by her buffer beam, which is actually coloured in red, which is nice to see. Shame they didn't do that on the back though, which is a bit of a shame because they clearly put the effort into making sure the front of her looked good and not just like a big black blob. But they didn't bother with the rear end, which I don't really understand why you'd do one and not the other, but well, that's what paint pens were invented for, I guess. Mavis does have her side detailing changed a little bit. So first of all, she doesn't have any side plates, just like Toby. Now, I really did not like it with Toby. I think Toby, as a character, is pretty well defined by the fact that he has side plates. Everyone knows Toby as that boxy engine where you can't see his wheels, and the fact that they didn't do it on his 2026 diecast, when they've done it on every single other diecast of him, even the 2019 push-along one, it's a bit pathetic, really, especially considering how much detail's gone into the rest of this new range. Now, unfortunately, Mavis has fallen victim to this as well, because she also doesn't have any cow catchers. But because Mavis is a predominantly black engine, and she has dark grey wheels, it doesn't bother me with her as much as it does with Toby. I mean, my Toby at the minute looks like this. I've custom painted him up with some grey paint around his cow catchers, actually given him the correct colours. Flipped his cab around, flipped his roof around so that his chimney's on the right side, because for some reason Mattel couldn't do that. But it doesn't fix the fact that he doesn't have side plates, and he still just looks so naked without them, and I do need to fix it. But I really don't think Mavis looks that bad without side plates. Now, there's no excuse for her to not have side plates either, especially because they've also gone to the effort of putting the Farquhar Quarry Company Limited text on the side, which, I mean, you can see on her promo art that she has that text, but then it's also got a cow catcher beneath it. So, you know, it's like a kid's going to look at it and think, why can I see the wheels on the toy and not on the model on the box? Yeah, it's not a good thing that she doesn't have side plates, but I think it's less offensive with Mavis than it was with Toby. Speaking of her side, like I've mentioned, she's got the text there, which kind of what I was talking about the other day with Scruffy. Why have they removed all the engines and names from their sides, but then kept a lot of English text like this? Because they've removed Mavis's name and replaced it with this hazard stripe, and then with a number, which she never had before. But then you keep the Farquhar Quarry Company text. It just seems a bit odd. You know, it's very inconsistent. You're like, either commit to it or don't. And I mean, I don't mind the fact that she didn't have her name on her side anymore. I don't get why she has this hazard stripe here, but I don't mind it. I mean, she has hazard stripes on her front end, which is mostly covered by her face. So, you know, it's at least a detail that doesn't look completely out of place. I don't know why she's been given this number, D0204, because as far as I know, that's not an actual number that any of her class wore. But it's pretty cool that, like, she's been given a number for the first time in years. She does have some hand railing detail painted on, as long with some rivets, excuse me, and her engine, sorry, her radiator vents, I guess you'd call these, they are molded in and you can feel them, which does feel very nice. Her cab, like I said, is entirely plastic though, which is a shame because I really thought this entire top half would be metal, and because it's not, it feels very cheap, especially when you look at it from the back. I mean, I don't even know how well my camera will focus on it, but her entire back is just one big black blob, which is obviously why they printed the buffer beam on her front end, so that it wouldn't look so bland and bad. But then they didn't go the extra mile and do it on her rear, which is a shame. But she does have cab windows, which are hard to see on camera, but there you go, they are there. I don't know if she has any more detailing on her back in the show, so I can't say for sure if any of this is inaccurate. But it would have been nice if they did go that extra mile and print on the rear buffer beam, because, again, there's just a couple things about this toy that kind of confuse me. Like, why give her no cow catchers but keep the text above them? Why don't you print the rear buffer beam but you'll print the front one? Why take away her name on her side but give her a number? It just doesn't make sense. But overall, despite all my nitpicking, I do still think that Mavis is a pretty good toy. I think most of my problems with her would go away if they did include her side plates, because she does look naked without them, again, less offensively than Toby does, but she can get away with it better than Toby does because her whole bottom half is black, and the colour contrast isn't as dire as it was with Toby. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting that they've put Mavis in the second wave of diecasts. Like, it's nice that they're actually seems to be doing something with Mavis in the show again, or at least they're going to include her in the show again, because she hasn't really appeared in the show since, like, one shot in the Big World Big Adventures movie, and then never again for eight years. So the fact they brought her back is pretty fun. So I hope they do some interesting stuff with her in the show. At the very least, I hope they keep their dynamic between her and Toby. That would be nice to see, because they've never touched on that in the CGI series as far as I can recall. But yeah, if you find this girl, I should say, if you find this girl in the toy shops, I would recommend picking her up, but maybe save her for later, because I think there are far more characters in this wave that are outstanding more than Mavis is. Like, for example, if you find Nia or Hero first, or Whiff, I would recommend picking them up, because those models have far more consistent quality than this one does. Again, she feels very cheap and very light, but then the detailing she does have is very nice, and it just makes me wish that they went the extra mile and gave her all of her detailing. But anyway, if you're a Thomas collector, you're going to pick this up anyway, let's be honest. I'm already waiting for my second one to hopefully arrive soon. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.